You can let her know. Anyway, so provides purpose. Like I said, for me, my goal is to zestfully live my life full of health, wealth, and happiness. So every goal, and like I said, that's a very broad mission statement, and there's other things that go with it. But whatever goal I have, I'm going to ask myself, does it add to this? Does it add to my purpose? Does it add to my overall mission statement of life? And if it doesn't, maybe I shouldn't be doing it. Now, there's some things that you have to do, whether you want to do them or not. And it's still best to put a goal with it to help you achieve that. Hello, everyone. Come on in. We've had all kinds of technical difficulties, so you've missed very little.
Well, that's fantastic.
We're operating on realtor time. So, yeah, you guys. There you go. I apologize for the quality of these. Just 5 minutes. This is fun. So these are some reasons why you want your goal set. Uh-oh. We were doing great. What happened?
Just close the screen down. Is that why?
Maybe. Yep. The productivity pyramid. Who has ever seen this? This is a really good way to make sure that whatever goals you're setting line up with your life and your values. So your productivity pyramid, everything begins with your values. You don't ever want to have a goal that goes against your core values. And sometimes, some people know what their values are. Sometimes you may need to sit down and say, what are my core values? Integrity, honesty, because if you are doing something that goes against your core values, it's never going to happen. So you're always going to start with what your governing values are. Long-term goals are developed from your values. To live my life zestfully, filled with health, wealth, and happiness. So what does that mean to me? What does happiness mean to me? It means my children are happy. That makes me happy. It means that I am making a difference in people's lives. It means that I get up with a purpose every day. It means that I want to come to this office and see everybody that walks in here succeed. So what do those things mean? Those are your long range goals, values, and purpose. So like I said, mine is very short, to live my life zestfully with health, wealth, and happiness, but you have to decide what happiness is. Like I said, for some people, happiness is on the beach. For me, happiness is in here making a difference to people. So you have to decide what those are. And if your SMART goals don't line up with your governing values, they're never going to work. You're never going to achieve them. They're not going to make any sense to you. You're going to be in conflict with yourself. Like if, and I hope there's no one in here that has a value that money is bad, but some people were raised to believe that. If one of your values is that money is bad, you're in the wrong business, and goals that you set, you're going to self-sabotage. So you need to relook at those things. Does that make sense? That's just kind of an example. Long-term goals are attained through a series of intermediate goals. So I want to make $1 million. Should that be your goal that you set today that you're going to leave and work on? Or should we set some smaller goals that are going to get you to being able to make $1 million? Right? MREA is full of goals. The Millionaire Real Estate Agent. Does everybody have a copy of that book? Okay. That is literally a book of goals as to how to net $1 million as a real estate agent. That's not how to have GCI $1 million. That's not how to make $1 million. That book is how to net $1 million. And how does it do it? Through little goals. And even within goals, there are goals. So that's what's important to remember. Long-term goals are attained through a series of intermediate goals. And the most important one is intermediate goals are attained through a series of goal-oriented daily tasks. So the whole point of this is the mundane. The mundane that we don't like. It's boring. And that's why in the beginning, when I said that setting goals, it gets rid of the boredom and the apathy, because the mundane stuff that we do every day is what gets us there. We all tend to forget that. we all tend to get up and think, "Oh, I don't want to do this. You know, this is one, and we all have days where we didn't think we did anything. So I'm gonna tell you, my son, who was in the military, he's 26, he's in the military, he did his 4 years. He got out and had a little hometown wife that I just love, but you know, she was homesick and they were stuck. I say stuck in Hawaii, but really they did not like it because, you know, they had island fever and mama was a long way away, or both of them. So he came home, he really struggled because he came home and went to work, because he's a worker, but he was not doing the job that he wanted. And he came and he sat with me one night and he said, Mom, I just feel like I'm not going anywhere in life, you know. And I said, Kenneth, are you getting up out of the bed every day and going to work? And he said, yes. I said, then you are moving forward. You are moving forward toward a goal. I said, the only time you need to be upset or sad or depressed about your life is when you stop getting up and going to work every day. I said, because I don't know why you're in this position you're in now while you're waiting for a better position. I don't know if this is going to lead to a better position. And I said, remember when I got up every day and did property management, and then I left property management and cleaned houses, and then I stayed up all night and worked another online job. I said, remember those days? And he said, yes. I said, do you see where I am today? And he said, yes. I said, that's because I kept doing that mundane stuff that I disliked, but it was doable for me because I knew I had a bigger goal. And the bigger goal was to get where I am now so that I didn't have to struggle. I could be a better mother. I could take care of my children. I could take care of myself. I could make a difference in other people's lives. So every day that I was doing those things that I hated, because I don't even like to clean my own house, much less other people do. But I did it because I had a goal. And so it made it doable. Does that make sense? So we don't want to lead generate. Nobody wants to lead generate. Nobody wants to spend 2 hours a day making phone calls or going to talk to people or calling FISBOs or whatever. No, trust me when I tell you, nobody wants to do it. Nobody wants to clean somebody else's house. And I spent a lot more than 2 hours a day cleaning somebody else's house back in the day. But I had a goal. And if you have a goal, that will get you through the mundane, and even worse than the mundane. It will get you through the parts of the day that you hate, that you don't want to do. Now, if I tell you, I will pay you $50,000 a year to make phone calls 2 hours a day for XYZ company. That's all you have to do. You have to make phone calls for 2 hours a day. You have to read a script. I'm going to give you $50,000. Who in here would do that? Okay, let me promise you something. And I learned this the hard way, thanks to Dina Watson, who put me in my place. Not so kindly, might I add. And I love her for it and thank her every day. If you will go to work for yourself and make phone calls 2 hours a day, you will make a lot more than $50,000. But we tend to work harder for other people than we do ourselves. Why is that? Because it's sick. But if you look at yourself like the business and you're employing yourself, and whatever your lead gen for the day is, but if somebody says, I only want you to work 2 hours a day, I only want you to work 2 hours a day, and I'm going to pay you $50,000 a year, we would all be like, oh, sign me up for that job. I want it. You have that job. And it's a lot more than $50,000 a year. We had an agent here who is not with us any longer. He is a terrible real estate agent. He's a terrible real estate agent. He had terrible follow through. He was not a good real estate agent. But you know what he did? Every single day for 2 hours, from 8 to 10. He did 4 hours. Okay, every single day for 4 hours. So he worked half a day. And literally, this guy only worked half a day because he didn't do the rest of the real estate job. We did. Because we got phone calls.
And when she says he worked 4 hours a day, the door was shut.
He was in this office right here with the door shut. You could stand outside. The script was the exact same.
You could knock on the door.
He would answer you. I mean, I think he was on the autistic spectrum. I really do, because that was like a recording of that script that he did.
And
He did it.
fabulous.
But he did it for 4 hours a day, every day, and in no time flat, he was an $8 million producer in his first year. And he was not likable, and I like everybody. And he was not a good realtor. So he had a lot of complaints. Let's get some things out of the way. I'm not saying do what he did, because he did those phone calls, he got the listing, and then he didn't do the rest of it. But he did that, and I mean, in no time flat, an $8 million producer. And he was working at Goodyear at night. But he got on his shift at Goodyear, he came here, he sat in that office, and he, for 4 hours, made those phone calls and was an $8 million producer. It's more than that today. He's only been in the business a couple years. So I promise you, you guys are likable. You guys will follow through, you guys will do it. So, but he had a goal. And everybody knew what his goal was too. He had a goal. So if he didn't mind coming and making those phone calls, because that was the daily task that he did to achieve that goal. So this is why I say how important it is. Again, we're going to go back through why it's important. Goal setting, it's the planning process. It's the aspect of self-management. Who in real estate thinks they need some self-management? Me. I mean, I even have a schedule and I need self-management. Time management, self-management, because the easiest thing to do in real estate is to not work hard for yourself. Again, you're working for somebody. You're working for a business. It's just your business. So why is it okay to let yourself down? I mean, would you fire yourself if you were working for yourself? That's the question you should ask. If you owned a real estate company and you hired yourself to lead gen every day, would you already be fired?
I would.
Would you fire yourself? I would have fired myself 1,000 times over. But that's a question you ask yourself every day. What are your goals? As the business owner, what are your goals? And would you keep yourself as an employee? If not, change your daily tasks. Look at your self-management. It sets positive expectations. You got to find the positive in the mundane. You got to find the positive in the stuff we don't like to do. It puts meaning into our lives. Again, when I was doing 3 jobs, cleaning houses, it put meaning into my life, because the point was that I was not going to be cleaning houses for long. The point was that I had started over, I had a reset, but I had a goal. So it gave meaning, so I didn't mind going to do it. I didn't mind any of the stuff I didn't mind, because I knew it was taking me to a different place. And everything you guys do, it's taking you to a better place. It's taking you to a better place. As Heather says to me, it's going to be good, but you're going to make it great. So it's good. You're all good. You're all sitting in here. You're all breathing. You all have food. You have shelter. Your life is good. But if you want to make it great, set yourself some goals, some SMART goals. And it helps people achieve their dreams and ambitions. What kind of goals enhance motivation? Specific goals. If they are specific, they are more likely to increase motivation, help to determine the amount of effort. Proximal goals provide reliable information about one's abilities. These goals are perceived, the progress is perceived positively, and it creates confidence and helps maintain motivation. That 2 hours a day of lead gen, I promise you that if you do it, you're going to get better at it. And if you do it and you're not great at it, so what? You're not firing yourself today. You know, you're working for yourself, so get better at it. Give yourself a chance. Take a chance on yourself and say, okay, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to do it. I'll tell you a secret, or I don't know if it's a secret, but when Dina laid the gauntlet down on me, when I was like, scripts. She's like, really? How many have you done? How do you do scripts? I'm like, well, I'm not really doing scripts. She's like, how many houses did you sell last year? I'm like, she's like, I sold 64, whatever. And you sold 2. So how about you listen to what I have to say? I'm like, She said, how about you pull out a script and you go do it? And then you come back and tell me how they don't work. And some of you may have heard this before. So I left, I went to a neighborhood where I didn't know anybody, and I wrote down all of them to sell polymers. And I called them and started doing the scripts. And they worked. They worked. And that became part of my goal. That became part of my daily activities. So that, it's pretty interesting, but create confidence in yourself. Like I said, you work for yourself and you're not going to fire yourself today. So go ahead and try. So the SMART goals: specific, measurable, action-oriented, realistic, and timely. And you guys all have that in their little worksheet. Specific goal setting describes what you want to accomplish with as much detail as possible. Value goals lessen the possibility, vague goals lessen the possibility of attaining them. And again, when you have your goals tied to your values, you're going to have a much better chance. When you see how they're tied to your values, you're going to attain them. But if they're vague, again, it's not a goal, it's a wish, it's a dream, it's a thought. It's not a goal. Example, I want to do well in English. Okay. What is well? Is it passing? Is it a C? Is it a D? I want an A on my next composition. There's a difference. Action-oriented, measurable. Describes goals in terms that can be clearly evaluated. If you cannot evaluate your goal, it is not a goal. Again, it's a wish, it's a dream, it's a thought. You need to be able to measure it. No measurement means that task or goal will never be attained. I want to study my biology text. I want to study chapter 7 and answer all the questions. To see the difference? It's measurable. You answered all the questions. Action-oriented goals. Identifies a goal that focuses on actions rather than personal qualities. What are your actions? Goals must have an action in order to complete it. If you don't have an action item, how do you know when it's done? Again, it's just a thought or a wish. I want a better attitude about studying. How do you measure that? What are your action items? I want to complete all of my assignments before classes. That's pretty measurable. You go to class, did you complete the assignment? You know whether or not you did. So it's the same way with the goals we're going to be setting. Realistic goals. Identifies goals that are actually able to be attained. Goals can be challenging, but not unrealistic. And we even have here, you will sometimes hear people say a stretch goal. So I want to sell, Heather, what was your goal for this year?
36.
36 units. What was your stretch goal?
42.
42. Okay. So she wanted to sell 36 units this year, and her stretch goal was 42. So you should always have a goal and a stretch goal, but it should be realistic. Okay. Everybody in here is an individual agent. Is it a realistic goal to say that you're going to sell 100 units this year as an individual agent? I'm going to tell you that's not very realistic. Now, you could do it if you bring in some help, you do some other things, but as you are right now, if you say, I'm going to sell 100 units, no, you are not going to sell 100 units by yourself. You could do 50, but it would be hard, but you're not going to sell 100 units by yourself. So that would be an unrealistic goal. So tonight I'll read half of my book and complete the assignments. I don't know how long big the book is, but they're looking at it as an unrealistic goal. Tonight I'll read 2 chapters of my book and complete the assignments. Make it, because you will quit if it's not attainable. You're not going to keep going after it. Timely. Identifies goals that break a longer term goal into shorter term goals and clearly specifies a completion date. This goes back to what we were talking about in the beginning. You have a big term goal, a large goal, but you have to break it into smaller goals to get there. I want to graduate with honors. Okay, to graduate with honors, you need to make the dean's list this semester or every semester. You see, I have to break it down. You have to make it measurable. Because how do you know if you're going to achieve your goal if you don't have any measurable things along the way? So Heather, where should you be in your goal right now? And Heather's on the ALC and we do goals. This is why I'm picking on her, because I know what they are.
So we are at the end of August. I need to be more than halfway.
Okay, and how many, where are you?
20,
So you're more than halfway.
yes.
So, see, and we do this at ALC every month.
What's AOC?
Thank you for asking that question. It is the Agent Leadership Council, and it is made up of people that are in the top 20% of our agents here. They have several different goals. One thing about being on the ALC is because they're in the top 20%, it's getting them together, they work together to learn how to grow their business, to be better at what they do, to have their goals, to track what's going on. The other thing is that they serve as mentors to other agents in the office. They also help to make decisions about what happens in the office that affects agents, not surrounding money. So like they can make suggestions on, give us an example of it. Yeah.
Well, I know this just past one, we were talking about implementing the CES again,
Right, trying to get CS back in.
which is an education piece that we'd like to be able, during COVID, they went on a hiatus, and so now we want to get it
So
back.
on that part, that is a recommendation from the ALC, because it does involve market center money, which involves profit share, so those decisions have to be made. But they can, they make decisions about functions that we're gonna have. They
Right.
make decisions about
Red Day.
office morale, red day, other things that are going.
Team policy.
Yeah, team policies, phone duty policies, any policies and those kinds of things, they go through the ALC. Because we are a company by agents for agents. So profit share is part of that, ALC is part of that. And there's also an IALC, which is the International ALC, that makes decisions company-wide. So, but I'm glad you asked that question. Yes.
I know a lot of times y'all say this, and I'm going in my mind, you know, questions, you know what I mean?
Yes, well, you should, if you like, if it's in a class or something, just write it down.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, say, what does this mean? Because all these acronyms, when I came here, I was like, is this a military institution or what? Because I might as well be out at Fort Bragg where they've got all these letters that I don't know what they mean. So I'm glad that you asked that.
So when I first came to Williams, it was a goal of mine to be on AOC. When I found out what it was, I was like, okay. And looking at it, I really did set a SMART goal on it, because I knew you had to be in a certain percentage. I knew you had to show culture. I knew that you had to do, so I was like, and I went and I said, this ALC thing, I want to so.
And there are people that are like, I want to be a member of the ALC, and I give them basically SMART goals. Here's what you need to do. Number one, you got to be in the top 20%. Number two, you have to show that you are active in our culture. You need to show up, and then you can break that down into, I need to be there for Red Day. I need to participate in any fundraising events that we're having. I need to ask how I can help with get-togethers, Christmas parties, fall socials, Halloween events. All of these things. So you literally can have a checklist of how can I get on the ALC. So that's great. So procedures for writing SMART goals, because I want us to do one in here today. That's why you've got your worksheet. Identify the area that you want to write the goal. I'm going to suggest it be real estate. Now, if there could be a more pressing thing going on with you. You could have a family thing going on that you want to figure out. If you want to do that, I'm not going to stop you, but I'm going to suggest, for the purposes of being here, the best thing you can probably do for your family and yourself is succeed in real estate to the highest level. So, evaluate your past and present achievement to consider to the extent to which the goal is realistic and action oriented. State what you want to accomplish. Describe how to measure the goal and include a specific completion date. Okay, let's talk about this. Who has an idea of what kind of real estate goal they would like to set? I also would tell you that my suggestion would be you make your real estate goals in units, not in production, because we do not control the price of house, the prices of houses. What we do control is our units. Now you can tie that to how much money you want to bring home, because we know what the average sales price is. But does anybody, let me ask this, other than Heather, because she's on the ALC, probably Stacy, because I know how the Georgia team operates. Does anybody have their goals set for 2021? Did anybody set goals? Okay. Did you set them in number of units?
No,
Okay.
I set them, I want a cap, but I
Okay,
think.
listen, that's a great thing.
Right.
That's a great goal. And let's break it down.
But I think what's more important to me being a new agent is I want to learn the business, right?
Yes.
So, I can say, hey, I want to make $1 million, but I want to learn the business. This is, you got to crawl before you walk, and you got to walk before you run.
Right.
So,
Let's take both of those things. Let's take the first one. I want to learn the business.
Right.
Because that's vague. It's somewhat vague. How could we put some SMART goals with I want to learn the business?
10 class daily.
Attend a class daily. Right? You can attend a class daily, even if we don't have one. How would you attend a class if we're not having one here in the pharmacy?
Online.
Online.
Williams University.
Williams University. So that's one of the goals, attend a class daily. What else could you do? What else could be a SMART goal for learning the business?
Shadow productive agents.
Shadow a productive agent, how often?
At least weekly.
At least weekly, okay? So you've got attend a class, are we doing 5 days a week or 7 days a week?
7 days a week.
7 days a week, attend a class, online or in person. Shadow, a productive, one of the top 20%, we'll just make it even more specific. Shadow a top 20% or a top 10% agent weekly. Okay, what's another measurable goal we could put with learning the business?
Make phone calls for 2 hours a day.
Make phone calls for 2 hours a day, fail forward. You are going to learn the business if you make phone calls for 2 hours a day. I would add in attend call nights. And somebody has a call night at least once a month. You can attend call nights with the Welcome Home team and you can just sit in there and listen. Heather does call nights. The PC program does call nights. So I would add in attend at least 1 call night per month or 2 call nights per month. And even if you're not making the phone calls, listen to the verbiage, listen to what they're saying. Okay, one more. Let's do one more thing you could do. to learn the business.
This is one that I tell all agents. Spend at least 30 minutes a day studying your MLS. At least 30 minutes a day. You need to know your inventory.
And Heather does it, and she knows it. And Heather and I used to both be, we used to joke, this back when I sold, that sleep is for people that don't have access to the MLS, because what time does the MLS update? I know, and Heather knows. Does anybody else know?
12:01.
Nope. 2:30.
Is it 9 a.m.?
It used to be 2:30.
What is it now? Okay.
It is 12:01 now.
Oh, there you go. It is 12:01.
When it was,
Okay.
when it was an Ovia,
When it
and
was
you were doing
true.
business.
Okay, there you
it
go.
was, it was.
It was 2:30.
It was 2:37.
2:37.
But Heather, you have a very valid point, right? Because my first sale closed last night.
Congratulations.
And
Yeah.
this morning, I have to go in here now and update the MLS with the closed square footage and take a screenshot of. So us new agents that are coming out of school learn the textbook, right? But the actual business of conducting real estate is, putting your listing on the MLS, making sure the verbiage is right, making sure that the pictures are oriented where they make sense, knowing how to go in and edit the MLS or just using showing time.
Yes.
And like setting up, a show and go, things like that you don't learn in school, that you have to get into the system and actually learn how to do it. So that's why I say for me, being a new agent, it's important for me to learn the business. I have some other friends that came in the company around the same time that I did, but they had been doing real estate way before they had actually got licensed, and where I was primarily working my 9 to 5. So I'm relatively an infant in the game. So I just have to not necessarily compare myself to my peers, but make sure that I understand that learning the business up front is going to help me in the long run.
And it's really going to help you.
Great. And when you're at the grocery store and you've got your name tag on and someone says, oh, so you're in real estate? Yeah, well, how's the market? Don't say the market's hot. Because anybody can say
Know
that.
some specific numbers.
You know what? I'll tell you what, the market's starting to slow down just a little bit.
More houses.
About 4 months ago, we had maybe 500 houses active, and now we've got about 900. What is that going to say to the person who's talking to you?
Specific numbers.
You have just told them that you are extremely knowledgeable of what your market is. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you, for me, it's because I'm nosy as hell.
It is because she's nosy.
Looking at the amount, what's just in general, what?
She looks at the hot sheet, what just came on the market, first. Who has it?
I do look at who has it. I look at, so I'm also from Fayetteville, so I also look at who the seller is, because I wanna know, do I know them?
Why, do I know them, and why didn't I get their listing?
Right,
So
And
that's how you
where-
constantly improve. Where did I fail in?
where was the hole in my business in not reaching them to be, so this is, whenever I do a class, I always use Haymount, I'm a Haymount girl. By the time I am, I don't know if you know who Judy Caps is, but this is Judy, that's how she answers the name.
Tam.
My intent is to be, when people think of me, I want them to think of Haymount. And that's.
You are Judy Caps.
I will be Judy Caps.
You
And so when I see something that is Haymount or in that area, I go in depth. I wanna know what it listed for, who listed it, when it closed, who closed it, what was the square footage. I like to look back at how many
Does
times
the square
it's been
footage
sold.
match the tax records? Because a lot of times it doesn't. So
Right.
it's good for you to know those things that a lot of times they don't.
So, and it's just good to know, because if you get someone that says, hey, what is the average price per square foot? I can, right now in Haymount, it's about $147.
You can also use Kelly to find that, but you want to know that they match up.
Right. So if you wanna be a Rayford agent, you need to know your Rayford numbers. You need to know what's going on. You need to know your, this is not even a MLS class.
But it's okay, but get on there and study it, but get on, just get on
Right.
there and look at it. And aside from getting on there and looking at it, get on there and get more used to using it,
Right.
because then you're gonna be more efficient. Okay, so let's talk about that for a minute, and I'm gonna add one more to that, and that is read one book per month. One real estate related book per month, and they are going to include the MREA, shift, and flip. Okay. So you're gonna, and the real estate investor, I'm gonna say those four. Okay, so read one real estate book per month. Okay, so now we just did a SMART goal. And it started out pretty vague. I want to learn the business. What was our first goal? And so we broke it down into 6 goals. I think, what was our first one? Attend the class every day. The second one was
Shadow productive agent,
shadow productive agent at least once a month. Once a week.
a top 20 producing.
A top 20 producing agent at least once a week. To see, it's not enough to say shadow a producing agent. What? One of them a year? So once a week.
Right.
Third goal,
Make calls, 2 hours a day.
lead generate 2 hours a day. So it's very specific. 2 hours a day is to making calls or lead generating. Fourth goal,
Study the MLS 30 minutes a day.
study the MLS, 30 minutes a day. Fifth goal,
Read 4 primary books, Gary Keller books.
read 4 primary.
REA.
It actually was read 1 book a month for the first. So what I'm thinking, and then I'll tell you why I said that, but the first 4 should be the Gary Keller books.
Right.
The 4 primary Keller Williams books. Now, I said a month because I'm thinking you want to learn the business. What time frame did you have in mind when you said I want to learn the business?
Probably the first year. I
First year.
want to be a first year capitalist.
Right, so that's also what I thought you meant.
Right.
Because I want to take this first year and learn the business. So how many books will you have read at the end of the year?
12.
12. How many classes will you have attended? If you go every day?
360.
365. How many times will you have shadowed a top 20 producing agent? 52. What was our other? How many days, calls, yeah. How many hours will you put in on calls? I'm not gonna make that, math, I don't know what it is exactly. Somebody,
600 or something.
something, yeah. Yeah, so 600. 700 hours of lead gen. And we'll just say an hour, 30 minutes to an hour a day of MLS. Do you think that if he does that SMART goal, that he will have reached his goal by the end of the year of learning business?
Absolutely.
Yes. So do you see how we took that very vague goal, we learn business, and we put 5, and I say at least 5. We put 5 specific, measurable, attainable. Why is my mind going like relevant
Time
and
bound.
time-bound goals? Do you see how we just did it just like that? Okay, perfect. So evaluate past and present achievements, state what you want to accomplish, describe how to measure the goal, and include the specific completion date. And we all just did one. I think we should make that a smart plan for new agents. What do you guys think? I mean, really, you were all a new agent here at some point. What do you think about make that as a smart plan for new agents?
all out. I was like,
Okay.
perfect.
I love it. I think I'm gonna give it to Renee, because I mean, if you do that by the end of the year, you're going to know the business. And you're probably going to be happy.
What were the 4 books? Because I think I have 3. I'm missing one. I have.
Probably the millionaire real estate investor is probably where you go.
What's the
flip?
You said flip.
Flip, it's how we flip.
Okay, that's what I'm.
Flip,
Yeah, I
it's
don't
the
have
yellow
one
one.
either.
Is it flip yellow? It's red, green, blue, yellow. Yes.
Okay, so
Add the one thing to that as well.
Oh, that's right. The one thing.
is that Gary?
Read that one first.
That was,
Jay Patterson.
yeah,
And it's the best one of all.
it really is.
Because, and it's only about this big. And it helps you figure out why you're doing what you're doing.
Isn't that like it's not even a real estate?
Not a real estate
It's
book
not-
at all.
Has nothing to do with real
Has nothing to do
estate.
with real estate. It has to do with finding your big why.
Right. And mindset.
And that's it.
That,
So we did a one thing class in addition to bold, and we had an agent that I love dearly, Anna Bunn, who after doing those 2 things, she came to me and she said, and I wasn't a team leader at the time either, but we were just friends, and she said, you know what I learned from this? I don't want to be a real estate agent. She was a music teacher. And that's what she was. She was a music teacher. She said, my big why is not real estate. And so she went back to music and has done very, like, you can still flip. Just because I love Anna so much. And she's so happy, you know, her husband's a band director. She went back to teaching. All my children took lessons from her. I took lessons from her. But she said, it doesn't fit in. Real estate doesn't fit into my why, to what I want to do. So again, you gotta make sure it fits in. But yeah, I think that's gonna be a great smart plan. Obviously, writing your SMART goals down. Evaluate your goal. Is it really a SMART goal? And if necessary, make modifications to your goal. So I think the goal that we just did, we looked at it, we thought about it, we added the one thing because we needed to modify. And then the other 6 books for the year can be anything business or real estate related or mindset related.
You know, it's crazy to say that because like, you know, I have Margarita and some other friends of mine that I look up to. She was telling me about the 80-20 rule.
Yeah.
And then the other book was the 48 Laws of Power. So there's things that I've learned from my real estate friends that don't have anything to do with real estate. However, there's things that we pull from that. So like, for instance, this listing. When I sat down and did the listing appointment with the with the sellers, excuse me, and they were asking me what to list it at. And I said, well, here, I can give you a range, but I would suggest that we don't price it at the top end of the range. Let's price it in the 85 or 90 percentile. So then that way, when we have buyers come in and actually put a offer in on this, with the market that we're in, we recognize that they're probably gonna come in over. So we'll get to that high end of the spectrum, but if we make them feel like they're getting a bargain, then you know, we'll probably have more players. And within the first 48 hours, we had 4 offers that were all at the high end of the spectrum of the CMA that I.
And it showed your sellers that you knew what you're talking about,
Yes,
which means they're going to refer you to other people
and it appraised.
and get appraised,
Most
and that's
important.
key. Because the appraisal problems are real.
Yeah.
They're real.
Yes, they are.
The key benefits of goal planning, again, we talked about this earlier, we'll go back to it. Goals influence motivation and learning, setting and attaining. Your intermediate goals can motivate you to attain your long range goals, and each goal you set should be SMART. Okay, so we are finishing. That's pretty much, we're gonna answer questions or whatever. You can stay in here. I encourage you, if you have time and want to stay in here and write out a SMART goal, I will stay in here with you. I will help you. I'll be in here as long as you guys want to be. If you can't, I know you have to leave a few minutes early. If you can't, that's fine. Take a screenshot of this, whatever you need to do. But I'd like for you guys to all do a SMART goal. Do you feel like what we've done today has been beneficial?
Yes.
No? Okay. Is there something that you think, and you may have to think about this later, but I'm gonna ask you to do this for me, if you will. After we leave here, think about a way that I can improve this. other than be more technologically savvy and get us started on time. But I don't know, that would have been an improvement because we work on real estate time. But if you guys will think about a way that I can improve this and either just shoot me a text or let me know or whatever, if there's a way, something you think I could add that would be helpful or beneficial. But I would like for everybody to do a SMART goal. Like I said, if you don't want to sit in here today and do it, that's fine. You can do it and still come by my office and run it by me, and we can talk about it. And I can say, is it this, because like I said, I love the example that David had of, I want to learn the business, because that was vague. I mean, that was about as vague as it could be. And we really took that and not only made it into a SMART goal, I think you guys are gonna see this as a SMART plan for new agents. And very measurable. And there's no way that you are gonna do those things and not know the business by the end of 12 months and not be producing. There's just no way.
So one thing that I do want to encourage all of you with this, you're gonna go through this exercise, you're gonna write down your SMART plan. Don't take this piece of paper and put it on a shelf. Put it in front of you, look at it. You can write goals and you can have fabulous written down goals, but if you are not looking at them and if they're not staring you in your face, it's easy to just push them to the side.
So one thing you will see in all of our top producing agents' offices, you will see their goals hanging on their walls for everybody to see. So you guys see them, and they may see them subconsciously. Most people have the houses. I think Amethyst has them hanging outside of her office every year. So they have a sheet of paper and it has, the Welcome Home team has hundreds on theirs. You have 42,
Yeah.
that's your stretch goal.
But it's not how, I mean, this is written.
You don't have houses, okay. If you go in and go in and look in the office right in front of where the desk is downstairs, where Jackie and Stephanie Kelly, they all have that sheet hanging on the wall. They're also all cappers. Almost every capper in this office has their goal hanging somewhere that they can see it daily, and they interact with it daily. Interact with your goal daily. You may have to tweak it. You may have to mess with it. But I love the houses, because again, we cannot control the cost, the cost of houses, but we can control how many units. So if you're setting a real estate goal, it should always be units. Although you can have an idea of the average sales price, but it should always be units. But if you'll walk around and look at any of the teams, and they're welcome for you to come in and look. But like I said, walk in the office downstairs, right there to the right front of the desk. Every desk in there on the wall is just a sheet of paper, 8x10 sheet of paper with a certain number of houses on them. And it's going to be, like for her, it would be 36 houses and then extra to make up the 42. And so they know, and they're marked, they're colored in. They color as they close on it. And like Meredith's, when it's under contract, she colors in the roof. So I can walk in there and see Meredith has closed 12 houses and she has 6 under contract because the roof's colored in. When it closes, she colors the whole house. But she's able to judge exactly where she is on it. So, but it's a living document that they're constantly working with. It's fluid. Look at your goals every day. And for me, I'm tangible. So I like something, you could have it on your computer, but I think it's better to have it where it's looking at you in the face. We used to have another goal sheet that we used all the time. It was about how many appointments you had, how many calls you had. Yeah, the CGI.
And you can still do CGI. It's
amazing.
amazing. It's the 4 conversations.
They don't know, they probably don't know the 4 conversations are because we don't talk about it.
You can also set up your goals in Command. It's got a place for you to set your goals, and it will break it down for you to tell you how many.
We used to have these everywhere. It's this right here.
Yep.
And it's got like, can I check this stuff on it? Use that? But it's listing appointments, listings taken, our wall of value, closings, and what your profit is. This month's goal, how many listing appointments? This month's actual, this month's goal. We used to have these all hanging up everywhere because it's still a good one too. If anybody wants to copy this. But it tells you, and then there's another thing in front of this for a lot of us, for how many calls or contacts you had to make to get an appointment. Which is called your conversion rate, but that's a whole different. It is in command, yeah.
So you can do it.
Where is it exactly in command? Where did they get to find it?
You talk about it.
She's gonna tell you where to find this thing. Is it in designs? Yeah, but anyway, this is a goal sheet that we used to use, that everybody used to use it. There's nothing wrong with it. But again, there'd be another one over here for how many contacts you had to make to get an actual phone.
In reports,
In reports, okay.
and along the top, it's got goals.
So the other thing that, I'm gonna add something to your learn the business. For the smart, 'cause I'm thinking about the smart plan, and it is to do one of the, what would you think would be one of the best command things to do? What is it, 66
Oh.
days?
Yep, 66.
66 days,
For sure.
so I'm gonna add that,
Yeah.
the 66
Complete
day
the
command challenge,
66 day challenge.
complete the 66 day command challenge. So I love that you just came up with a new, or this class, we all just came up with a new smart plan for new agents. Because if you do this as a new agent, you're gonna learn the business, you're gonna know the business. And you're gonna know command, and you're gonna know what you're doing, and you're gonna know a bunch of agents, and you're gonna know the MLS.
That's why
And
you
you're
have to
gonna
be
have all
here in
kinds of
class.
knowledge.
That's why you have to be here in class.
That's why you have to be your class. That's why you have to be your class.
What's criteria to cap?
It is, so on a 70-30 split, on the current cap, it's about 2. Now, this is assuming that you're getting 3%. Okay, so on some houses, you're gonna get less than 3%.
Right.
It takes about 2.4 million to cap at 3%. Now, we are going to be switching over to that, $17,000 cap at an 80-20, and it's gonna be between 2.5 and 3 million to cap on that one. Because you're paying less in per transaction.
Does one have to say it 80-20, or can you choose to do the 70-30?
I think that you can still say in your 70-30 if you
Okay.
would like.
Okay.
Which is why it's always interesting, I always know big producers. Big producers don't want an 80-20 split. It always cracks me up, they don't want an 80-20 split, but no, I'm trying to cap. I want, and they compete with themselves. How long did it take you to cap last year?
5 months.
5 months. How long did it take you to cap this year?
No, this year, it
The
was,
year before.
year before was 6, this year was 5.
So it's a competition that you have with yourself on how much faster you can cap the next year. So those people, they don't want anything to do with an 80-20 split. They're like, no, I want to cap as quickly as possible, and that's on a 70-30 split. Because it's all the same. Once you get to that kind of production, you're looking at your year-end amount. And the best thing for you is to cap as quickly as possible. So, but it's gonna be between 2.5 and 3 on the new split. And we will be looking at that towards the end of the year. Going to the $17,000 company dollar split and the 80-20. $17,000 company dollar and then an 80-20 split. But I do need to find out. I imagine it's gonna be optional because we don't want the whole 20% to raise hand.
Because we would.
Yes, because tapping the caps in less than 30 days a lot, most of the time. And it's a true competition. Stephanie, true competition. Welcome home team, their first question was, how many days did it take us to cap? Took them a little longer this year, so they were like, oh, that's not record breaking. Okay. They wanted to know. And one year they did it in 6 days.
They're also, and these people who are capping that quickly also happen to be in the right time frame for capping. I'm a December capper.
Well, that's true. If you're a June cap,
Yeah, if you're a summer cap,
if you're a
you are-
summer cap, you're gonna cap faster
You
because
are.
we sell most of our houses in the summer.
you're set.
I'm a September cap.
I'm a
Oh,
December.
I'm a tomorrow cap. Tomorrow be
Wow.
7 years. I'm a tomorrow cap, yes. So that's true. If you're a summer cap, you can cap pretty quickly.
Not to say, not to
Not take away
minimize
from it, but just so
what
that everybody
they do, because they are amazing. But most of our business is done in the summer, so, yeah. I'm a December cap, which I don't, and this is how I've set my business, I don't do much in December.
By design, I
Because
didn't do
I'm
a lot in
family.
December by design. I wanted to.
Once Thanksgiving hits, I'm
I'm going to thank you guys that joined us on Zoom. Please, if you have any suggestions for how this could be a better class, let me know. Do your SMART goals and let me know what they are and how I can help you. Be glad to help you with them, to help you make them more attainable. And I can't wait to see what everybody does. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you for the class, Julie.
Hey, you are,
Thanks.
thank you. I hope that it was helpful.
It was very helpful.
Good, good, good. I'm glad. And like I said, please reach out to me and let me know what's going on. Can you guys see? I see that the start video is not on for some reason.
Somebody typed something in the chat. I don't know if that was a question.
Maybe. Can you guys see me or just see the screen?
Just the
Just your
screen.
screensaver.
I've been turning and talking to it the whole time. You can't see me. I think when Shelby set it up or when we restarted it, we didn't have it on, but that's okay. All you needed to see was the screen and be able to hear me. So thank you guys. Please let me know how I can help you with your goals. I will be glad to do it. Y'all have a great day.
You too, thanks.
Heather, I have a question for you.
Yes.
What is the DA distribution authorization?
It is no longer in existence, so you don't need to know.
Okay, because it says it's required to upload in command.
So the DA, it used to be until the real estate commission put a stop to it. If you were no longer a provisional broker, the real estate office could code a check directly to you. It didn't even have to come to us.
Okay.
But the real estate commission stopped that.
So we probably need to update command because it's showing as a required document for us to upload for Tricia to sign off on.
So that would have been something that you would have done. That was something that would have been done by